Solving equations. When solving equations, you need to have an equal sign. Your equations must always be balanced. That means whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you must do the same to the other side. You must always have a reason for taking action, and our goal is to get the pronumeral on one side by itself. So when solving equations, we perform the opposite of what we have there, or the inverse operation. So if something is added to x, then we subtract it from both sides. If something is subtracted from x, then we add it to both sides. If something is being multiplied with x, then we divide it by both sides. And if x is being divided by something, then we multiply by that something to both sides. Let's have a look at some examples. 8a plus 6 equals 30. So here we can see that we have 8a and then we have plus 6. So this plus 6, we can get rid of it, so we can make it 0 by minusing 6 to both sides. Now we have 8a, because we haven't changed that, plus 6 minus 6 is 0, equals 30 minus 6 is 24. Now I have 8a equals 24. That means 8 times a equals 24. So because we know that 8a is a multiplication, we're going to divide. So we'll divide by 8 and divide by 8. So now we have a equals, because 8a divided by 8 is 1a, so we just write a, and 24 divided by 8 is 3. So a equals 3. Let's have a look at another example. 1 minus 3b equals 7. So here we have 1 minus 3b. So this 1 is a positive 1. Now remember that our goal is to have our pronumerals on one side of the equal sign. So here I have 1 minus 3b. So in order to just have pronumerals on this side of the equal sign, I need to get rid of that positive 1. So we're going to minus 1. And remember, whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do it to the other side of the equal sign. So 1 minus 1 is 0. So we're left with minus 3b equals, and 7 minus 1 is 6. So now I have a negative 3b equals 6. Remembering that this is negative 3 multiplied by b. So we're going to divide. And you always divide by the number in front of the pronumeral. And in this case, it's going to be negative 3. So we will divide by negative 3. Negative 3b divided by negative 3 is 1b, or just b. And 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. And let's have a look at one final example. So here we have 5c minus 7 equals 7 plus 2. Sorry, 5c minus 7 equals c plus 2. So here I have pronumerals on both sides. And remember, our goal is to get our pronumerals on one side. So I have a look and see which side I have the most on. I have 5c on the left, and I just have c on the right, or 1c on the right. So I have more c's on the left. So I'm going to subtract the positive c on the right, and whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So we'll have 5c minus c. If I've got 5 c's and I minus a c, I now have 4c minus 7 equals C minus C is 0, and I just have this positive 2 over this side. So now I have 4C minus 7 equals 2. I have all my pronumerals on one side, but I still have this negative 7. So the opposite of a negative is a positive. So we're going to plus 7 and plus 7, because you have to do it to both sides. So now I have 4C minus 7 plus 7 is 0 equals 2 plus 7 is 9. Now I have 4C equals 9. Remembering that 4C is 4 times C, so if I divide by 4, divide by 4, 4C divided by 4 is 1C, or just C, and 9 divided by 4 is 9 over 4. Or 2.25. You can just leave it as a fraction as 9 over 4. Let's have a look at some examples of solving equations with brackets. Step 1 is to expand the brackets first. So remembering how to expand brackets, you multiply the number on the outside by each term inside the brackets. So 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 3 is positive 6 equals 8. Now I have 2x plus 6 equals 8, and we do exactly the same thing as what we did on the previous slide. So our goal is to have our pronumerals on one side. I can see that I have my x on one side, but I have that positive 6. And if we do the opposite, we're going to minus 6 from both sides. So we'll have 2x, and then we have positive 6 minus 6, which is 0, equals 8 minus 6, which is 2. Now we have 2x equals 2. Remembering that's 2 times x, so we're going to divide by 2. And once again, you must do it to both sides of the equal sign. 2x divided by 2 is 1x, which is x, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. If we have a look at another example here, we have 3 bracket 2m minus 4 bracket equals 4m minus 6. Now remember, the first thing we do is expand the brackets. So we go 3 times 2m is 6m. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12 equals 4m minus 6. So now I have 6m minus 12 equals 4m minus 6. First thing I want to do is get all of my pronumerals on one side. So I have 6m on the left and 4m on the right. I'm going to subtract the positive 4m on the right. And whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I have to do to the other side of the equal sign. So 6m minus 4m is 2m. We still have our minus 12 equals 4m minus 4m is 0, and then I just have minus 6. Now that I have my pronumerals on one side, I now need to get rid of the negative 12 that's there with the pronumerals. Now because that's a minus, we do the opposite, which is plus, so we're going to plus 12 to both sides. And we have 2m minus 12 plus 12 is 0 equals minus 6 plus 12 is 6. Now I have 2m equals 6. So this is 2 times m, so I'm going to divide by 2, divide by 2. 2m divided by 2 is 1m, or just m, equals 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now I want you to have a go at some.